Set 2 is going to be on Lost Temple. And as we take a look, it is going to be Terious up at 12 o'clock with the red Zerg. Terious foe. And all sorts of people cheering here. Cheering him on. And our blue Terran at 9 o'clock is Polt Prime.
Polt Prime.
I think the key that you said there, going back to the first set, was he stayed one base ahead the whole time, at least. And it almost seemed like when he gave up the main, it's like, I'll give you my arm, but I'm going to chop off your head.
Well, at the time when he gave up his main, I mean, I'm not talking about the one push where he took the Spire, but when he actually gave up the main, he knew that the Terran had zero base income, while he had both gold and his third still running fine. So he knew that even if he lost his main, if he could not fight the army before he had reached enough banelings, Zerglings, and Mutas to actually take that ball, the Terran couldn't replenish his army, right? So he just needed to be patient and just build up his army with the income that he had.
Yeah, the key was that he didn't panic. Exactly. He didn't try to go in there with lesser units and just have them killed off too.
No, that's like he really, like, throughout the entire game, he never panicked. Even when the Terran was creeping up on him, with sieging through the middle of the map, trying to split the map in two, I mean, so you can't rally point your entire army like the Zerg likes to do. He still kept his composure, just waited for the right moment to strike, even when run through the back, trying to avoid the siege tanks, just keeping the Terran from not having 3 bases.
All right, and it looks like for this particular set, Terious, our Zerg player, I believe he went to a spawning pool first, rather than going to the double hatchery opening.
I guess he scouted pretty early that the Terran was at the closest possible position on Lost Temple, and then the option for the Terran to do an early harass is much greater because the rush distance is the shortest. But I think even with the changes now that you can do a fast expand everywhere on the map, but yeah, and on any map. Any distance, but I haven't really tested the timing yet, so I can't tell for sure. But this is a map that the Terran, even he's down 1-0, but this is the Lost Temple, that this is really the map or the 3 maps that you should win.
All right, and looks like a gas steal here as Polt Prime's having to deal with an extractor on his base by Terious.
And he's going to cancel it.
And indeed does just in time, and then starts up a new one.
Yeah, because the idea of this is very simple, that if you do this for a long amount of time, you can actually keep this gas occupied much longer than if you finish it, because then he will just destroy it, right? But every time you cancel it, he will get a full HP again, right? So yeah. But 3 Marines quickly ends that theory.
Now, why is it that you'll see a Zerg gas steal against Terran in a TVZ in StarCraft 2, yet you really won't see that in StarCraft 1?
Because Terrans have a lot more openings to go on against the Zerg player in StarCraft 2. In StarCraft 1, I mean, the basic openings, 1 Rax Factory or 14cc, right? In StarCraft 2, you can go 1 base Banshee player, you can go 1 base Hellion Harass, 2 Banshee player, you can go one base Thor drops on the cliff or a tank drop. And that is very common on Lost Temple because both the Thor and the tanks reaches the hatchery and can kill it off pretty easily, and the Zerg very often won't have the time to reach lair attack and get drop or Mutalisk to stop that. So if you do a gas steal, he won't have enough gas to actually do that fast enough. So the Zerg have more time to respond to such a strategy.
Hellion out for our Terran player Polt Prime. A couple of roaches trying to harass at the main here. Trying to take out that supply depot. Not finding too much luck with a good pack of Marines there defending. And Hellion wants to get out. 3 roaches there. And the Hellion manages to get through with about half his hit points intact. Taking a peek around. Queen out at each of the hatcheries for Terious. And
You see
Looks like indeed we might see a Thor.
Yeah, he's gonna do a Thor medivac, like Thor drop on the cliff. And you see the hatchery is still morphing, but he's sending the overload to the right direction. But this is really hard for the Zerg to stop. You need to know that this is coming. But I think he had anticipated this when he sees the early Hellion. He knows that some sort of drop is coming. It's just very standard on this map to do so.
What's harder to deal with, a Thor drop or a siege tank drop?
I think a Thor drop is harder because with a Thor you have anti-air as well, so you can kill the overlord spotting uphill. So that makes it so much harder for the Zerg to actually spot the Thor shooting at the hatchery.
Well, here comes the medevac with the Thor, and there is the spot right on top of the hill. Overlord's there to spot it. Now, how's he going to deal with it? Spine Crawler taking a lot of hits. In fact, it's down. And medevac dropping a couple of Reapers there, or sorry, SCVs there to repair the Thor as well. Smart play here. And just a very vulnerable position here. And taking out the SCVs. Good job here by the Roaches. And the Thor forced to back off. Is he going to get the Thor? A couple more hits. Oh, just down to about 20 hit points, not even. Backs off in time to have the SCV repair it. Only one SCV there. He actually dropped 4 of them. Let's see if he sends a few more over to try to repair. Yeah, 3 more SCVs on the way to repair that Thor. And that's going to be more trouble for Terious. There are the SCVs. And now going with the missile turret there as well. And going after the Thor. Is he going to get the Thor? No! Puts it up in the medevac. Great microplay. Oh, a great pickup again. Needs to go and repair that at the backside. Good medevac play here. As the Thor is being repaired again. Working on a Nidus network is Terious. And dealing with this harassment here. Spine Crawlers there to defend against the Thor. 2 of them. Roaches trying to help out as well. Doing the best they can to get those SCVs that are repairing. And gets the turret. Nidus network is complete. Overseer complete for Terious. And here comes Terious through the Nidus worm. Trying to pop out from the backside. If he comes through here. Yep, here he comes. An interesting play here. Nidus worm. And here comes some Zerglings right into the main. Polt Prime just getting his SCVs out of there. And he wants to get the refinery. It goes. Another supply depot under fire. Gets the supply. Rest of the units are going to back off. And manages to salvage those. Still this Thor. A thorn in the side of Terious. And there goes the hatchery. That is going to be a big blow right now to Terious, who is down to just 1 base now. Baneling nest. And a hatchery going to 3 o'clock, the expansion for Terious. Looks like he's going to give up on the natural expansion.
I don't really like that Nidus player. With all the resources he put into the Nidus, he can easily reach his drop or like speed or get Spire up, you know, to deal with it. We deal with this one single Thor that has killed like 5 roaches and hatchery and like 6, 7 overlords or something. Instead, he opts to go for a weak counterattack that actually did very little damage.
Yeah, certainly didn't get enough SCVs there.
And with a drop tech or a spire tech, he could do so much else in this game, like harass the bases. You see his natural is undefended, and his main is undefended. So I don't really understand the logic behind that decision.
Overseer taking a look at the main, and a lot of drones being taken down by this Thor. And although the Thor should go down, let's see how much damage can be done. A lot of Marauders backing off from those Banelings, being chased away. And here comes the Marauder attack. Good micro here by Polt Prime. Polt Prime owning that battle. And another Nidus Worm. He's going to give this another shot here. Out of the vision of that supply depot, so this one might be a little more effective this time around.
I really don't like the choices of his expansion too. Like both of them are at the naturals of the Sector other mains. It's easy vulnerable for drop.
And here comes the Nidus attack, trying to get through. How much damage is he going to be able to get? Well defended so far. Oh no, but extra units are coming. It almost looks like an all-in rush here from Terious. He's bringing as much as he can. And it looks like he's being pushed back. Micro battle taking place. And I just don't know if he's going to have enough. Roaches leading the way. Maybe. No, the Roaches retreat back to the Worm. At the very least, the one thing you could say is he's buying a little bit of time for the rest of his expansions, because he's expanding everywhere right now. Anywhere he can expand, Terious is trying to expand. He's buying him some time as he's occupying Polt Prime at his own base right now.
That's about the only thing he's gaining right now, though, because
he is costing a lot of units.
Yeah, if you look at his food count, he just wasted about 70 food for maybe 20 of talents. So I don't know how this will pay out. I mean, he brought with him 4 queens as well in that push, and they had absolutely no use at all. They was like the first 4 units to die. So the idea was, I guess, sound, but the execution was poor.
Here comes the medevac over to the 2 o'clock base. Not much there. No, and he's going to give up. There is the GG. Polt Prime goes on to victory. So Polt Prime takes set number 2. As looked like Terious just didn't want to go on any longer. It was starting to draw out as he was getting further and further behind. He gave a last-ditch effort to see if he could macro up somehow by using the Nidus Worm as a bit of a distraction. In the end, though, as you mentioned, the idea was there, but execution certainly wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, the decision-making in this game compared to the first game was awful, to be honest. I mean, the Roaches has gotten 1 more in range, and they're viable against the Thor drop, but in the long run, you need to get something air-oriented again on Last Temple, because there's a lot of cliffs, there's a lot of ways to harass his spaces, there's a lot of ways of catching his units off guard all over the map, and still he opted for just going mass Roaches and doing a weak Nidus counter that obviously wouldn't work.
All right, well, we are just about set for set number 3, as this is certainly going to be a big game. We've had 3 games tonight, and all 3 of them have gone to the 3rd set. Let's go to this one.